Welcome home, Bitcoin truth seekers. It is Monday. It's Memorial Day. It is Monday, May 27th, 2024. Let's check out what's going on in the markets. Today's been kind of we had a bit of a burst in Bitcoin today, but now it has retraced and we're slowly gaining some volume on the alts. We're starting to see alts do a little bit of something, the top 100 at least. So let's see how things look like for a setup. It's a holiday weekend, so it's an unusual weekend in the market, of course. Any little bit of unusualness always affects the market some way or the other. BitcoinDailyView.com got more for you there. Looking at Bitcoin trading volume, we're back up at 7.5 billion, still down 5.9% over the last 24 hours, but we are picking up volume slowly. Had a burst just over 70K today, came right back down. So he pumped, we gave it back. That pump did wreck a good deal of shorts, so people were not necessarily expecting that. So interesting. Looking at longs versus shorts on Binance, 59% long, 40% short. Definitely a bit of a long bias there. And of course, for Ethereum, big time long bias, 61% long, 38% short. Looking at spot trading volume on the big exchanges, the top 20 are all slightly trending up, but still in the red last 24 hours. So definitely, I think we're going to open tomorrow, on Tuesday, probably in the green for all the exchanges. Bitcoin right now is 68,636. Looking at the alts, Floki is recently really taking off. Bonk is taking off. And Dog with Hat is taking off. Chainlink up 6.5%. We're beginning to see overall a bit of a switch from the red to the green in the top 100. So, and some, of course, are doing pretty good. I think we're going to probably see an open, which is pretty positive for alts. Maybe Bitcoin as well. Looking at Bitcoin here on the 4-hour chart, I see myself an upwards channel that Bitcoin kind of burst. Let's say Bitcoin, it's a nice upwards channel. It burst above it, came back down into it. It's just holding it on the 4-hour chart. It's above the 200 moving average and the 314 moving average. Looking at the indicators, the squeeze indicators beginning to show. Basically, I think we're going to head back towards the green, directional index in the green, ADX, beginning to trend up there positive, no big volume to speak of. So anyway, I think we're definitely going to see probably a Monday where I think it's more likely than anything else, we probably see a nice bounce off the bottom of this channel that it's made on the 4-hour. I think so. So I think looks like to me we're setting up for a nice alt day and probably a nice Bitcoin day come tomorrow. Looking at Ethereum, definitely a big long bias for Ethereum, but the squeeze indicator is trending down. ADX and the directional index are kind of indifferent towards one another, but this year I'm seeing is we might be seeing, the beginning of some kind of let's say I'm just going to go like this. You can kind of see some upwards momentum here on the 4-hour chart, but also we are really in the right place for a serious Bart Simpson pattern correction. That L there, boom, go down to a predictable moving average on the 4-hour chart. So Ethereum, I know there's a bit of a long bias on Bitcoin, a long bias on Binance, but I don't know. Ethereum, play at your own risk. It's a little bit dangerous, in my opinion. Ethereum, ETC, I should say now, looking at ETC versus USD. This is on Coinbase. We'll see. We're in a squeeze right now in the 4-hour chart. We'll see what happens. But if ETC, USD can hold this nice channel, bottom of the channel, and make a bounce, that will be kind of a cool play into the next week. And that's about it, really. Let's look at some other things. We saw that Floki. USD T. You can play it on Binance, Gate.io, KuCoin. Look at it on KuCoin. Yeah, Floki recently just making a nice strong move for our chart. It's really killing it, but now it's starting to go sideways. We'll keep an eye on this one. Let's look at a 45-minute chart. Yeah, it pumped, giving it back. Let's see what happens. Floki just recently made this move. Let's see how it kind of retraces, and this one might be something as we ride into the week. It could be an interesting play. Right now, it's in a weak spot as far as the Fibonacci sequence goes, but it wouldn't surprise me if Floki maybe came down and bounced off that .5 or that 618, or maybe even kept going from where it's at. But Floki, definitely one that we'll keep an eye on. And I also saw that another one. Let's look at another favorite of mine, which is SHIB. Yeah, SHIB USD. You can play that one on Coinbase, which is kind of fun. And looking at SHIB versus USD. So that one kind of perking up today. Nah, that's not so good. So forget that one. And now that's about it. Bitcoin, like I say, I think we're going to see a bounce off the bottom of this 4-hour channel. And we'll just see how it rolls. It's looking pretty strong. I mean, it's a hard one to call, but in my opinion, I think we're most likely looking at least it wouldn't surprise me if as we roll into this week, we see a little uptick off the bottom of this channel and begin to do something like this. We'll see what happens, but I'm more bullish than bearish today. So anyway, real quickly, as we move into the new week, watch out for volatility. Here's a little bit of news real quick. I always put it at the end so that you don't have to listen if you don't care. But news, just some interesting stuff. Palm Springs Police get a new makeover on their police cars. It's colorful. I wouldn't want to drive it. Breaking. This is where you have to kind of be watching, because I don't want to say these things on YouTube, but breaking, a soldier killed following an exchange between them and somebody else near this specific border. If you see this, you see it. If not, you'll have to just look to see. Watch out for this. This could definitely make for a very fiery week on many levels. I do believe that I'm going to say Egypt, I think they play really kind of both sides of the fence these days. And I think they're more going towards the brick side of things, which makes sense, of course. I won't go too deep into this, but just realize that this is a big deal. And so moving into the week, this could definitely, put oil prices at like 130 a barrel. So be careful. That could be a world changing event depending on how that goes. A certain chief, a NATO chief, backs calls for that strike inside whatever. And you can also read this in more detail, this one here over Trends Journal, link in the description. A specific, wicked queen of the East, or wherever it was, that house may have fell on her in the book, but in reality it didn't. And so this horrible monster is back, is suggesting terrible things. And then, of course, it gives here at the bottom in red there the Trends Journal take on it. And then, of course, below that, other supporting documents, articles. So anyway, but watch out. This is very, very real. If this actually happens this coming week, like I say, once again, watch out for extreme volatility. EVs twice as likely to hit pedestrians as gasoline vehicles. This is just a silly fluff piece, but I thought it was funny. Anyway, so you've been warned. Visualizing daily protein sources by region. Thought this was kind of funny, or fun. Africa, mostly plant protein, then followed by Asia, then South America, then Europe, Oceania, and North America. So anyway, well, there you go. It kind of be funny if there was like something to make like the WEF crowd happy, if there was a little like a segment there for like crickets or something. Looking at Gallant in this place vows to advance deeper inside, and the World Court doesn't like that. And anyway, this is another thing that could actually heat up this week big time. Is that I think we're beginning to see some mutiny between the reservists and the active duty, and like the reserves and some of the more like fundamentalist groups within that military here that we're looking at, and the actual leadership of the country. And we're seeing like kind of just watch out for some breakaway organizations, or whatever you might call it, units. The government right now of this country that I'm looking at here, I don't think they necessarily completely have control over. Like the military leaders and then the governmental leaders aren't necessarily on the same page. And so let's just see, we could see very quickly a severe break between those two establishments. And that would be, well, once again, another possible global shitstorm. So be careful. This week is really crazy. And it is also Memorial Day. And there's, this little picture here to me sums it all up. Anyway, it seems like we have a lot of world leaders who are doing their best to ensure that we create more of these little monuments and more of these grieving people. So be watchful this week. Hopefully we can make some money on Bitcoin. And any alts that you might be interested in, watch out for Ethereum. I think it could be a real Bart Simpson trap, pattern trap, but it also could keep going, or it might be a great buy after it makes that bounce. Floki, I'm watching the fib on that one, and we'll check it in the morning. I think this one may do a continuation. And over at Blockchain Education, as always, Robert's been kicking out some good charts today. And API, or API 3, I think it's called, is one that he was looking at, and it's setting up quite well. So anyway, Blockchain Education, love to see you come join the team. If you're interested in, really hardcore being an amazing crypto trader, that's a place to go and learn. There's endless resources and 2 webinars a week where we talk about charts and setups, and it's very much worth it. You click the link in the description, you get a nice discount. I don't make any money off of it. You make a nice discount, and that's what happens. And happy to see you join the team. I'll be back all I can this week to let's try to get some charts set up that we can start watching, find some good entries and exits. And anyway, take care.